Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Xavier's Journey. Tonight I have. Oops! Oh my God! Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh. Tonight I have tonight I have Mr. DaVon Franklin and I have Jose Rivera, and they're from the X-Tremitiez Entertainment. Did I say
Yes,
it right?
yes, somewhat. DaVon Franklin Jose Rivera. We from X-Tremitiez ENT.
Sorry.
It's all right.
So, thank you. It's a pleasure to have both of y'all. I just met y'all last week, but I'm very what I
Appreciate
just
you. Yeah,
you
yeah,
Jose.
no. Appreciate you having us on, man. Definitely, appreciate the love. You know what I'm saying? Glad for the invite. And so we make it do what it do. Let's go.
Right. So a little before we go any further in this interview. So Devon, Jose, give me a little background. Who you are? Were you raised in church? Did just give me a little background before we go into this interview.
Go ahead, Davon. You can start off.
Oh, okay. I'm DaVon Franklin. Yeah. I'm originally out of Yonkers, New York. I grew up as a military brat. You know what I'm saying? I also served 5 years. To answer your question pertaining to the church, you know what I'm saying? I think we go directly into that. Yeah. Actually, I did. I do have a little background in church. A little bit. You know what I'm saying? I started attending. Actually, my mom used to tell me, little biblical stories and stuff, you know what I'm saying, from Yay Big coming up. But actually, in attendance of it, I think I started attending like maybe around the age of 14. And that was actually due by way of her service, you know what I'm saying, and what she was doing and what she was going through at the time. And she decided that she wanted to make that spiritual pilgrimage and out of support because you know what I'm saying? She did, there was a prayer that I used to always have as a kid, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of like got answered, you know what I'm saying, through that transition. And I want to support that, you know what I'm saying? And, so yeah, and I've that began my spiritual journey, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, around that age, 14, 15 years old.
Okay, that sounds good. What about you, Jose?
Uh, Thank you once again for having us on the show. We
Yeah.
appreciate, God making this happen and you blessing us with the opportunity so that we may be able to put out the good work from
Yes.
that we obtain. And as for my come up, like Davon, I grew up in a not in a deep religious home, but I grew up in a that we were taught morals. We were taught to have a fear and God because God loves us, but at the same time He will reprimand us when it's needed, right? And
Right.
the reprimand was mom getting all it in that butt with the belt. You know what I'm saying? If you was doing stuff you wasn't supposed to, you went to church and you got forgiveness. But I was baptized Catholic, but
Hmm.
I never did my confirmation. And by the age of 5, 6, my brother took me to Pentecostal church, and I did that for a few years. And then I started noticing the older I got, you know,
Hmm.
heard started getting different point of views from individuals that were either a different religious background, such as the Jewish faith or Muslim or Buddhist, and
Hmm.
what was you know throughout my lifespan, I've been blessed to get educated in a little bit of every um, religion that people attend to. So I would go to 125th Street, go into the mosque, and understand the culture, right? Why
Right.
do people take off their why do they go to church in sandals, and why do they take off their shoes when they go into the church and kneel and pray and up and look towards the sun? I got the meaning of that, and then the Jewish faith and Hebrew, learning all how to speak it and what it meant, or like Pentecostal speaking tongues.
Right.
I was like, what is this speaking tongues? All of a sudden, we're speaking normal, and then people start shaking, and all of a sudden, they speak stuff that seems like gibberish. But I was uneducated to the point where I had to open myself up to God and to
Hmm.
understand messages that were being passed through us,
Right.
right? then I grew a big respect. I grew fond of people that, got in tune with themselves and would pray after church 5-6 hours. Coming
Right.
from church and you see people sitting on the corner in their bed, and then my brother was one of those people who would glow, and he would
Right.
recite the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And from that point, he just something happened in life. His grandparents died, and he got into Santeria, which I was like, whoa, what happened there? And he
Right.
wore years, and then I learned that religion. And then
Right.
every light there's a darkness. So of course
Right.
I the opposite of Santeria, which is voodoo, brujeria, and I
Right.
started learning like why people do it, right? And
Right.
with the animals, the sacrifices, which actually is brought to light now on social media, and people are glorifying this stuff, the Satanism and satanic rituals and stuff, which it's scary, especially when you grew up like we did in the 70s, 80s, and we had a sense of morals, where now it's okay to get on stage and put on
Right.
a devil outfit and promote the nonsense, which would never have happened 20 years ago. So, still to this day, I have a keen sense of, God, in the name of Jesus Christ. Some people don't believe and certain, excuse me, certain religions don't believe in the Holy Trinity. They believe in different things like Jehovah Witness. People don't. I had to educate someone the other day. They was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to celebrate anything because I'm gonna be Jehovah Witness this year." I had to educate them on why is it that Jehovah Witness operates in certain ways and they don't celebrate certain occasions like birthdays, holidays, and stuff, because there's a reason. And
Right.
that conversation was over. This person says, "Oh my God, I've been lying all this time to people, telling them that I'm a devout Jehovah Witness. Never even knew the education they gave me." I said, "Because you need to do what we all do." And he was like, "What is that?" I said, 70% of your life is listening, 30% of your life is reacting. If you listen
Right.
more, then you get educated. And that's
Right.
why I love religion, because religion is like, you know, religion was the thing that kept us moving forward, but it was also a way of the Romans and people back then utilizing that for law until the Roman Empire went down. Then, everything broke off since then with the seven seals.
Right.
Right.
So let me ask both of y'all. Okay, at the radio show, give me the vibe. Say you go on Wednesday. Give me the vibe of what happened. Your daily use of when you go to work. What y'all both usually do? Because I heard y'all show the other day, and I heard y'all going, "DaVon, this is Jose, and hey, Jose, this is DaVon." So give me how y'all like. Give me a day with y'all.
Uh, oh shit. What
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
For the studio or
No, in the studio because I was listening to your Wednesday show the other night.
Well, see, the dynamic of us actually kind of like goes back to how we started it. Like, you know what I'm saying? When we started back in with like maybe 10, 11 years ago when we was at Nightline. Um we having similar backgrounds or whatever have you not, and we kind of have like that same vibrant, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But Jose's the hype man. You know what I'm saying? That's the big ball of energy. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy that gives you that spice and gives you that, you know what I'm saying? Me, you know what I'm saying? I can amp it up, but I kind of lay back and we play. It's more like a yin and a yang. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like we kind of like balances out. Like, you know what I'm saying? He gives you the hype. It gives you the, and I just keep it laid back and smooth. And for us, the dynamic kind of like it's kind of working a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we both very knowledgeable on various topics of various subjects. You know what I'm saying? Both very, very, very in depth and very in tune with music and entertainment and stuff of that nature. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just about trying to put the right combinations together and get the right kind of, get the right things going to actually make the show interesting to make people want to watch. You know what I'm saying? It's not. We don't. I don't want to force you to watch. We want you. We want you to want to watch what it is that we're doing. So right now, it's still a work in progress. But I think that we're coming up with a formula that's kind of working a little bit. So we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
I mean, from the like DaVon said, 11 years ago, we started at night. And that was just the first time we did online. Before that, I was at a radio station, a pirate radio station, 103.3. And we were actually doing pirate FM dial. So you could be driving down the street trying to look for 103.5 and you go 103.3 when you're searching, you hear DaVon and I, and you're like, whoa, what? And then we would tell you, yeah, go online, you can see us. So now you heard us from the car and you on your cell phone. It was, oh, who are these guys? And then we were doing events together, fundraisers. I was the president of the Bronx for the Emergency Society. We incorporate a lot of our community giving back, right? Because DaVon and I, we take what we do seriously, right? Because there's a lot of people that just get on to a show and they want to just talk smack and they want to talk stuff that does not have any substance. Right. So what is that we pick topics that are important to us, but that the world is actually, with, like, we'll touch on things like what's going on overseas with the religious war, right? Because that's what it's come out to be, right? At this point, it's not because people just rolled up on some kid at a desert out in the middle of nowhere, and just lit them up. No, far more that goes into it. Like, this has been going on for thousands of years.
It just gets worse and worse.
Getting our piece now. So DaVon and I, with respect to everyone, one thing we always be mindful, because we know there are people out there that are sensitive, right? And and I'm not even going to say for the most part, for 100%, we have yet to get any negative feedback when people comment us feedback, and people actually say, yo, I just sit there and I listen to you guys, and like DaVon said, it's again, I'll be the crazy one screaming, ah! DaVon will be the brother in the background,
being relaxed
and being real relaxed, and everybody compliments him because he's always dressed up to the T. So I never anybody that matches from head to toe the way my brother.
That's me. I do that too.
and everybody, everybody's like, yo, Jose throws on the suit. DaVon knows how to put it all together, and I appreciate it because it shows that, we don't show you the business side. We don't show you, what we put on Sundays or on Easter. We show you that we can touch every demographic, and not so many people could do that. Like I will go to a school and we'll reach kids, right, on a Saturday, and then later on in that day, you'll catch us in another event hanging out with at-risk youth,
right,
and then later in the night, you'll catch us in a club rocking the whole crowd, moving the whole crowd.
I saw that too.
So don't judge. Xavier, the difference between us, and on constantly reminds me because I'm a human, right? And it's very easy for, what I say, it's very easy for a person to do something bad, but it's very hard to stay good. And DaVon is the person that reminds me on why we do what we do and the reason why we do it for the great. Now, that's not to get it confused, because a lot of people take that term, the great good, and use that for their own advancement.
Right.
What DaVon and I is, we don't do anything to advance ourselves, because what we do is we put your message out. You come on our show, it's about you. Tell us who you are. We don't want to, the glitz and glamour. You got the cars. We don't care about that. We don't care about that.
That's the same. But that's the same thing I do here. When I have people come on, I ask a little background of who you are, and then I go into the interview, and I go wherever it's going to go.
Right.
I do talk about topics, and I am going to bring some topics because I got something in my head I want to bring to both of y'all. Anyway.
All right. Shoot.
because I was listening to your show and I said I was listening to Wednesday.
Okay.
Y'all, DaVon post something. Both of y'all post something on your page about some guy, the one that I was posting. You talking of the interviewing this guy singing.
Uh-huh.
That was recently, right?
Yes.
So I was sitting there listening. I said, "Wait a minute!" I kept on hearing, "Yeah, this is." Jose was said, "Yeah, this is DaVon Franklin." Y'all going back and forth. I said, "Oh, this is cool. I like this." But you can tell that y'all a tag team. I call it tag team, and I hear the music and I hear politics. Not all shows, all radios that bring the two together. And that's what makes the uniqueness of it.
Yeah.
And just make it real talk radio. That's what it is. Because if you listen to somebody degrading or talking about, check out your ride or die, go to Hot 97. If you want to talk about gossip, real estate, and who's in court and who's about to go
98.7 Kiss when it was
yeah, you could go to Charlemagne and DJ Envy for that. But if you want real and you want the facts, and the thing is between us and everyone else that's on mainstream, Xavier, is that we actually do our research. We don't just say, "Oh man, there was a bombing in Iraq." Why? We don't. We actually tell you, listen, this happened because you guys are just hearing about it now, but this has been going on for 3 years already. Perfect example. DaVon and I about the at-risk use for the last 2 years, right, DaVon? On Access Radio.
Man.
Past 2 years, everything that we projected, everything that we predicted, everything that we said would happen from 2 years ago to now, we foresaw it because of the way the system works. And guess what? We've been on point. That's why people are hitting us up and saying, listen, you're in tune. Can you come to our school and talk to our people? DaVon went to Monroe houses, the projects in Soundview, which are the worst projects right now and for the past 10 years in the South Bronx. And
where's that?
It's in the Soundview section of the South Bronx for the Monroe houses. DaVon Franklin went in there and stood right next to Darcel Clark, who is the DA, the Bronx Borough president, and other dignitaries and politicians that would never step a foot in those places.
No.
My brother going in there, your heart, wanting to help people that want to get into the entertainment, to give them an outlet instead of them being stuck in the projects, getting into life or getting sucked into the negative ideals that are pushed upon the poverty-stricken areas.
Right.
So that's what DaVon and I do. We're not scared to go anywhere. DaVon is in Brooklyn. I'll be in the Bronx. Me and DaVon would just jump in a car or get on a bus anywhere, and we'll go anywhere you tell us. We do not have because we got God on our side.
Yeah.
Amen. That's the main thing.
To actually, what I'm saying, and like I said, everybody, got love for everybody and what it is that they do, what I'm saying. But I think KRS-One a long time ago coined a term, edutainment. You know what I'm saying? I think that's more along the scope of where we at when it comes down to what it is that we're trying to do as a whole. You know what I'm saying? We want to entertain you, what I'm saying, with the music, with the sounds, and with some of the acting, and maybe a little gimmicky here and there, what I'm saying? But we also want to give you, what I'm saying, a little bit, some knowledge as well, some things that you can actually take and move along with you and take with you in your everyday life, whether it be, what I'm saying, consciousness, your spirituality, or even if it's about your health and your well-being. We had Jamie, our good friend Jamie Sanders on, what I'm saying, sometime during the show, used to do a segment for us, what I'm saying, talking about, the health and, health is wealth and certain things that you can actually, take to basically, produce a better lifestyle for yourself, what I'm saying, inside and out. So, what I'm saying, we like to focus on a whole lot of good things that could be useful and helpful to the audience, what I'm saying, and it's not knocking anybody and what it is that they do, what I'm saying. We with the bullshit too, what I'm saying. We with the bullshit too. We do, what I'm saying, various, whatever. But what I'm saying, there's also time and places, and what I'm saying, there's things that what I'm saying we all could take in and benefit off as a whole, as a community.
Yeah. So Jose, tell me about what Extreme is. Like, who started it, where it came from. Give me a little history, and then I'm going to go into the other part.
So X-Tremitiez Entertainment started actually as a
That's
joke.
Jose.
It started.
That's Jose. You tell the real. It started with Jose.
Jose for real?
It started with Jose. So we gonna
Okay.
keep that thorough. We gonna keep that thorough. Let's go.
So back in 2003, 2002, 2003, I was working on a psych inpatient child and adolescent unit at Bronx, Lebanon. And
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at these kids, and everybody was always talking about BX, 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 and throwing up the X's, right? And I
Right.
break it down to the kids that you know that there's 5 boroughs in New York, right? And you know that hip hop started in New York, and it started right around this area down Bronx. The kids were like, "Oh, you're right." So I said, "Okay, think of your body parts, your extremities." This is what I told them. I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Your body parts, and those 5 body parts make up New York. Each part of New York, each borough, each county represents a different part. The Bronx birthed it. Brooklyn mastered it. Queens did his thing. Harlem did his thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I put those together, and the boroughs of New York, which make a worldwide entity now. Now, when it comes to how it came about, one day I was just sitting with my nephew. We were watching a McDonald's commercial during Christmas, and
Mm-hmm.
Black History Month uh, commercial was put on, and I told my nephew it's a little too early to be throwing that up around Christmas, and then
Right.
and it showed a bunch of kids just enjoying themselves, of all ethnic backgrounds and coming together because at that time the world was a little bit in turmoil, right?
Right.
Bush was still in power right before Obama. So
Mm-hmm.
I told my nephew turns around and he tells me, "Your company's a scam. You fake." I said, "Really?" I said, "You know what? I'm gonna make you say thank you to McDonald's after what I'm gonna prove." And he said, "What?" I said, "I'm gonna put a play. I'm gonna create a play. I'm gonna write it, produce it, direct it, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
make a Black History play."
Mm.
And
Right.
he says, "Never the day." I said, "Yeah, okay, watch." In a matter of 2.5 weeks, I went to my nephew's school. My sister was working there, both my sisters. One was a dean, the other one worked in the office. And I told them, listen, I want to take the students from this school, as well as my co-workers from Bronx, Lebanon, the activity therapist, the music therapist, and we're going to put a play in here, Black History Play, because you have someone that's running for president, and he's going to be the first Black president. Now, my sisters looked at me and was like, "You're bugging." And I was like, "What am I bugging?" I was like, "What? That the play?" Or it was like both. I said, "All right." Now the unique thing is that Mary Curie School for Nursing and Advancement is the school we did this in. They
Mm-hmm.
percent of children from Africa. 22% of them were from Ghana.
Wow.
The rest were from Nigeria, right?
Right. Right.
So what I did was I got all the students from Ghana and Nigeria, and I got them to be in the play, as well as my co-workers. All right. Now this was beautiful because I had them all. I wrote up these scripts overnight, and I gave it to each and every one of them. And they were like, "What is this?" I said, "Y'all gonna act like y'all slaves. Y'all gonna be in the cornfields. Y'all gonna be picking cotton." And they was like, "Where you gonna get all this material?" I said, "You're gonna use your imagination."
Mm-hmm.
Musical, but without anything like any tangible things. You're gonna act like you're using a pitchfork. You're gonna act like you're picking stuff, but you're gonna be singing. And everybody was like, "We can't sing." I was like, "Trust me. If you have faith in yourself and you believe it's gonna happen and that Barack Obama is gonna be president, you're gonna do this." The kids' eyes opened. And a lot of these kids barely spoke English because they were from Nigeria and Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of those 2 weeks, I tell you, Xavier, I had my co-worker who was a teacher in the school on the inpatient unit. His name was Kirk. He played the flute. Great. That's my brother. Kirk is my brother. He's played with some of the greatest people down in the Apollo and all. And
Mm-hmm.
sang a song. I said, "Yo, Kirk, I need you to sing a powerful song for me. A song that you sing at church. Something that's gonna resonate with this play." And he didn't sing the song at all until the day of the play. And what he sang was "Old Freedom," which
Oh.
went perfect. It went perfect because all the kids are there looking like, slaves. They have ripped shirts on. I said, yo, I went up to them. I said, yo, what are you doing? He's like, I had nothing to wear. I said, I hope your mother doesn't kill me, but I'm ripping your shirt. I ripped his shirt. Another kid, I said, what are you doing? What's that? Nikes. We didn't have Nikes back then. You better take those sneakers off and walk barefoot.
Right.
No, we're going to be authentic here.
Mm-hmm.
So the principal loved the fact that I had all the kids in there from Africa. I said, because we all come from Africa. And the principal looked at me and was like, yes. What is it? What else are you going to do? I just want to watch. By the end of that play, we incorporated about 36 students, 4 teachers from that school, and about 10 staff members from the psych inpatient unit where I worked at. And if anyone's ever interested, you can go on YouTube and look up. This is the title that I put on it. It's called Bloodline.
Bloodline.
Bloodline, Africa to the White House.
Bloodline to the White House, you said?
Bloodline, right? And then you put Africa to the White House.
Oh, Africa to the White House. Okay. Did you is this on was videotape?
Yes, it's on there. It's on YouTube, and it was taped, and it'll show you all the students, the principal, everyone that was involved, and how the kids were just giving this great feedback on how they felt special because they was a part of history. I had a guy named Rand take a whole canvas, and he put the White House on the canvas, and this was all the day before the event, and he my donation, and I want to be part of it because you guys are doing something beautiful. And would you guys believe that out of 100% of those students, 92% graduated and went on to college?
Wow. And they're probably doing music now.
And oh no, now they're all nurses, they're all professionals. This is back, like I said, 2003. Now these kids, college, they were seniors. Now they're all professionals, and they're coming back to Mary Curie and give just like the one I told you. My sister is always recording them whenever one student comes back and says, I remember this one play this crazy Puerto Rican guy made us do. And it was like, what? And it was like, yo, and you want, by the end of the play, you didn't even see him as a Puerto Rican. You saw him as just someone that loves everybody. And that's what it is. Because that's what DaVon and I do. We don't, you know how people say, oh, I don't see color. Bullshit. You do see color. What people are capable of. People are capable of being realistic and being, when you're realistic, it's like, yo, these are issues that need to be addressed. I don't care.
Right.
I'm Asian. DaVon and I don't judge. And we tell you, if you need education, we'll educate you. So respectful, and there's a couple of times that we got to put people in their place because, people just are stuck in their ways. Right. But that's because of their come up. If you grow up in a house where you get abused, what do you think you're going to grow up to be when you get your own family? You're going to be right. So when you have somebody like DaVon and I that bring the correct information, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. When you have individuals that don't care about the spotlight, help the community, and do stuff straight from the heart, because you're able to rule the world with just a penny in your pocket. And by the grace of God, and DaVon knows what I'm saying. When you're genuine, because at the end of the day, we're not perfect. At the end of the day, we go back home and we tell God, thank you. I know I might have said a few things that were out of order. I probably cursed. I probably made someone feel a certain way. I probably did something without. Can you please forgive me? And let's pray on this. And tomorrow I'm gonna do my best to be a better person. And that's all we're about.
Right. Go ahead, DaVon. You was gonna say something.
No, actually no. Nah, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay.
What's going on?
So let me ask this. So what is usually one of the most, like every show is different. So give me a night show, like if I was on with you one night. What is
It would actually depend on what we would actually have lined up and set up, because, like, you know what I'm saying, we would have like various people that we want to bring in, and to basically elaborate a little more when it comes down to, you know, extremities, and, you know, in a nutshell, especially when it comes down to us individually and as collective. A lot of like, for me, a lot of the stuff that with the entertainment things that I'm involved with, that I inspire, is basically to take a lot of, you know, they say how a lot of us people in certain areas, we're talented in various aspects of life. So the whole idea is basically to broaden the horizons and actually give an outlet for, you know what I'm saying, various for forth to flow. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're a young entrepreneur coming in, you want to sell, you're selling t-shirts, clothing, you got books that you want to, you know, facilitate, you got artwork. We've had people on that you know what I'm saying, was you know, had political aspirations that they may want to, you know, go get involved with some type of city council, you know, situation, or even came from city council, what have you not. So, you know, as well as youth, we've had kids on that been part of dance groups and have been on shows and stuff like that. So basically, it's more so geared and orientated towards the community as a whole, to basically bring light to various aspects of what it is that we're doing, you know what I'm saying, positively, and, you know what I'm saying, how they can excel and make, you know, make money off of our talents. So, you know.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I like that. So tell me about the consultant part of your, because you said you're a co-host and a.
Yeah, but I've used that as a word to basically sum up a whole lot of different things that I've actually done over the years. You know what I'm saying? I've done promotion work for up and coming entities, as well as I've done production work as far as co-producing, you know, shows, TV show. You know what I'm saying? We had a independent TV program out in Yonkers called Air to the Streets. Shout out my homeboy Omar Gale, Willie Els, Junie, you know what I'm saying, Pedro Pedro Lopez, as well as Ashanova. We were all a part of this faction called JO Media, that we was basically going around in the neighborhoods and, you know what I'm saying, you know, just putting people on camera, whether it was local businesses. Matter of fact, we got the opportunity. I got the opportunity to actually interview Andrea Stewart Cousins as she was campaigning to become what she is now. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to run into her at various functions, whether it be the Arts on Third that they had out there, or Riverfest functions, and was able to basically, you know, converse with her and do interviews with her as she was campaigning, and, you know, going on to what you see before you right now. So, you know, I always big up, you know what I'm saying, situations like that and seeing stuff like that manifest. Yeah, that was the ideal, and that was the motion then. And then, you know what I'm saying, of course, you know what I'm saying, being in the studio, you know what I'm saying, working with various artists, you know what I'm saying, running around with various artists, getting shows and doing promotion work, which kind of, like, you know, in this way enhanced, you know what I'm saying, with my man Jose. And it's funny because I was actually telling my man the other day. It's funny. Shout out to Angelo. I think Angelo Torres. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the one who actually put me on to the what we call the Spanglish market, and the reggaeton and the music that we now, you know, the Latino movement. You know, he put me on to that basically 20 years ago. And it's funny how everything falls full circle with the idea that we originally thought that we was trying to come together to do, and to be able to actually do that with my partner here, Jose Rivera, 20 years later, is very intriguing. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm just here for the journey and just trying to, you know, move forward and see, you know, where else we can go with this. You know what I'm saying?
And that's important. So let me ask you this. I had a conversation with a friend the other day about the mental health. And I'm looking at something where I know when Bill Blasio was in office,
Right,
he released a lot of mental people from the jail. And that's what we're dealing with now in our society. They just said someone got hit with a hammer the other day again. So how do you feel about the mental health in New York City, or the New York City and the whole, and the United States?
It has to be. You have to honestly address what the situation. With any problem, with any situation, you have to firstly honestly address what the problem is and what the situation is. There's various reasons behind mental health. You know what I'm saying? I think Jose is better to speak on it, because he actually that's basically what he does for a living. But but on the real side, you know what I'm saying, with any situation, you know what I'm saying, you have to firstly, I'm pretty sure he would tell you about the alcoholism that contributes to mental health, traumatic experiences that contribute to it, you know what I'm saying, as well, whether it's trauma, post traumatic trauma, or whatever have you not, you know what I'm saying, there's various things that contribute to it, you know what I'm saying. And let's not forget that we got shit that, excuse my French, we got stuff that's floating in the air, you know what I'm saying, by way of chemtrails. So, but we're not going to get into those topics. But Mr. Rivera,
come on.
So,
What I'm saying is, do you agree that's where we had mental health already, but he left that he brought more people out, and it got worse.
Right. So what happened was, I've been working in the field 27 years, and got into the field initially. I was, like I said, I began working as a mental health worker with an adolescent on a psych inpatient. And the sad thing is about 60% of the people that were coming in, I knew the families because I'm of the neighborhood, right? Over there on one state, in Franklin, Boston Road, DaVon and I came up through there, through 180 Fish. A lot of the people were bringing their kids to Bronx, Lebanon, because Bronx, Lebanon was one of two institutions besides Bellevue Hospital that was housing kids in their entire state. In the entire state, no other place would take children. If anything, they would keep them in a regular emergency room and allow the kids to act out, not realizing that there was a need to have a separate area for kids who are suffering in a crisis, right? Whether it be at the home front, whether it being sexually abused, physically abused, or kids in the shelter system, or kids that are quote unquote known as size 7, which we know as special ed, right?
Right.
What happens is that these kids built up enough from their own genetic being, right? Every other child, so they get upset. They're not able to play the same. They're not able to speak, articulate, do the same. I've sat and with children that not even know how to pick up a spoon to put food into their mouth, and that hurt my heart. And I would stay there doing double shifts, and the nurses would love me because they'd be like, "Yo, Jose, these kids don't got nobody." And it's like, but you got to understand where they're coming from. So people would expect these kids to come home into the unit and then be released, discharged back home. They come in so out of control, but then when they would get discharged, they would be stabilized, with the appropriate therapies as well as the medications. Now, what I'm leading this to is because Bill De Blasio, not even Bill De Blasio, his wife, okay, estranged wife, because they're separated.
Right.
The one that pushed the initiative, and she geared it because she noticed that when she would get on the train, when De Blasio and she lived in Brooklyn, because a lot of homeless people were just sleeping everywhere, and the police would just come and just kick them or hose them down, and tell them to get up and go, or people being forced out of the shelter system, right? And the real issues were not being addressed. There were people that were never in therapy. There were people that were being, molested as a child, or females being rape victims and being forced to give birth to these children and not given the option to have an abortion. Okay, background, or because there was a stigma, right, that you was a murderer if you got an abortion. But there was different factors that these people never took into account, which they do now. They take into account now that if a woman in New York State, anyway, because many states varies, if a woman is raped and it's within the right time, and this may have something detrimental to the fetus, and when it's growing, that right there, mental health begins right from the point of the fetus. People think, oh no, no, the babies in that stomach, they hear you, they feel everything. That's why
Right.
kids come out and they have people think the drunken baby syndrome is when you shake a baby. No, the kids come out already anxious. People don't understand that when we come out of that birth canal, that's the first traumatic experience we have in life.
Right.
Through a birth canal, that right there is a trauma. Now from
Right.
that on, you to learn new traumas that either make you or break you. If you don't have the appropriate uh, people in your life, like a therapist, a psychiatrist, worker, who take their job seriously, because 99% of the people in the field are have some type of issues in their own home front when they came up. Now, Bill de Blasio's wife created something called Shape Up NYC. I was a part of that initiative. I came out on billboards all through trains and buses and all throughout the entire state. Now, she incorporated this with the mental health thing because people weren't going to their appointments. They were missing many appointments. They were being court mandated, taking injections to keep them stabilized, but they would not return to their outpatient meetings. So what the former mayor's wife did was she created Shape Up NYC. I was one of the 4 people that pushed the initiative because they incorporated mental health. Of course, the mayor took all the credit for it, right? But when it went sour, like you said, Xavier, that people were being released out of prisons, and then the whole idea of closing Rikers Island brought up, everybody was like, it's a free for all now. But we
Right.
place these people in their own boroughs, and allow them to get treatment. We're not going to lock them up. We're going to allow them to get treatment. And if the treatment is appropriate, then we'll continue to give them X amount of services. Only if the Department of Health and Hygiene, okay, out in Long Island, only if the Department of Health and Hygiene, which used to be on 135th Street on Fifth Ave in Harlem, what they did was they begged Governor Cuomo for assistance. Governor Cuomo, like De Blasio, when it came to issues of mental health and municipals and stuff of education. Aside from that, they never agreed on anything. They hated each other. But when it came to mental health and the betterment of a human being, it worked well. So what happened is that from De Blasio's time to now and COVID, mental health has shot back up from the low 30% that it was at a high 100% of crisis. It went down to 30% to now going up to 89% where people being assaulted. MTA employee got assaulted on Monday. Somebody just went up to the guy and attacked him, hit him over the head with a weapon, spat on him, and the police are out looking for him. But when they showed the picture on the TV, I knew the guy. I can't because HIPAA. But the thing is that I knew the guy, and the sad thing was he came from a good family, but he got shot 9 times by the police, survived that. Ever since then, his mental health has been out of whack. He doesn't trust anyone. He has PTSD, as DaVon said earlier. He doesn't want to incorporate with his family because he feels betrayed. Everybody abandoned him. So when it comes to mental health, the politicians will put stuff into place, and they'll put certain people positions of power into their appropriate areas. But at the end of the day, it's the support of your family. If you don't have that, you're just going to fail.
But do you think that they're doing enough
No.
to help mental health?
No.
So all 3 of us on the same page, because I don't feel enough is going on.
Listen,
politics is talking.
When a person commits murder, goes to prison because there's no bail, comes back out and commits murder again, Isn't there an issue with both the law and mental health?
Yes. And it's not even so much to subdue them with medication. It's to that's when you get the professionals to come in. A lot of them just need therapy.
That's this, but there's also, and I've noticed, what I'm saying, at least I've been hearing about this. Well, fuck it. Well, excuse me. I've noticed it. I've noticed it. I've noticed it when I was in the workforce. It's like a hiring shortage, like where
Right.
there's a lot of understaffing in a lot of industries and a lot of facilities, especially when you're talking about in the medical professions. You know what I'm saying? So even in certain facilities where you have to where you actually have to deal with them inside like the institutions, if you don't have enough people enough staff to actually work with them, it becomes chaos within inside of the facility. So to answer your question, no, I don't think there is enough that's actually being done on
Because
that.
the reason why I say that, my father used to work at Beth Israel years ago.
Okay.
And he worked in the mental health department.
Right.
And it's like they used to deal with it back then. It was like going back what you said, it was Beth Israel, on First Avenue and 14th Street. The other one you said, First Avenue, Bellevue. And now, and I see in New York Presbyterian, they have a area too.
Yes.
There certain hospitals are dealing with it, but they're not doing enough.
No. And
go ahead, because right now it's just a couple of months ago, a woman going down the stairs. But what I don't understand, she walking down the stairs. How we were raised, you always know who's behind you. She was just walking down the stairs. The man kept on hitting her with a hammer. That was really when I saw crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing about that is, okay, so, and it's sad. It's sad because, why is it that I'm going criminal justice? If we locked everybody up and all the streets were perfect, what would happen to criminal justice? What would happen to the law? If there was no crime, what would happen?
We would probably kill each other.
Okay. Now, there's a need, right? So that's what they're putting everything from hospitals to the law. What gets me mad is when I was younger, doctors tried to cure you. Since I was a child to now, why cure you when I can make millions of dollars from treating you? Okay. Why find a cure for cancer or HIV or AIDS when I could just give you, like I said when we was on the show, $9,000 for an HIV pill, when I can just give you a shot that will completely cure you? I'm gonna give you the $9,000 HIV pill every 3 months, because by the end of the year, I done made already anywhere from 36,000 on just you alone. Now times that by the population in the state of New York, and then times that tri-state, and then times that by the nation. Healthcare, big business.
I think the better question is what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Because your original question was, them letting them out, you know what I'm saying? No place to go. The question is, what do you do with them? Because how long do you keep them locked, institutionalized, and and how much does it cost to keep that?
That's a great question. Now that's a great question. I'm sorry, that's a great question. But look at the prison system. If you look at the prison system, 72% of the inmates all suffer from a serious mental illness.
But listen to this one. So it's 3 layers. It's 3 layers that I'm hearing right now. You have the migrants that are coming here.
Yes.
We don't know what is coming in. That's coming into New York.
Right.
And then you have people in the street that came from jail. And then you have the other ones. When I see the news, a lot of them want to be seen on the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And the reason, why?
Why?
Think of yourself as someone that never.
Never had what? I didn't hear that part.
Imagine being an individual that grew up with no friends. Where then at some point in your life, you start hearing little different here.
Mm-hmm.
Your mic's breaking up, man.
Yeah, you sound like you.
At some point, you hear some gibberish coming into you at a certain age. Right? It could be preteen, or it could even be when you get into college. And all of a sudden, you get so used to this thing that speaks gibberish to you, it becomes clear at a certain point in your life.
Right.
Now, instead of you feeling like you're isolated, always by yourself, you now have a new friend.
Mm.
Okay. And this friend makes you feel secure. This friend makes you feel safe. But whenever you're about to go into crisis, the first thing this friend tells you to do is harm yourself or harm others.
Right.
When people get medications, so what happens? They choose to cheat the drugs or take just enough so that they can continue to get services and continue to get SSI, SSD as they're manipulated to if they go to the doctor. And then if they lose those voices, they lose their friend, they get frustrated. And the number one reason that the doctors in the emergency room ask the individuals, why did you do what you did? They say, because I want the voices.
With the voices they're hearing in their head. That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir. So it goes, it's a wide scale. On one end, medication has worked wonders. On the other end, it actually dampens the intellectual aspect of your life, makes you slow, and makes you feel of regret. And at the same time, you lose that one friend that was there for you all your life. And that's why people stop taking medications and stop doing, all the right stuff, because they become complacent and they feel that they're better off, having that one friend that speaks to them in their ear instead of being judged by the world. It's pretty sad, man.
Right. It is. So, what do you think about dementia? And okay, dementia, Alzheimer's. Let me get it right. Alzheimer's. Think about that topic in an overhaul, because you work in the mental health, Jose.
It's sad. That's it. If there was a cure for dementia, Alzheimer's, I wish they would release it, because there are so many individuals. Okay, you remember Ronald Reagan, right? We all grew up, right? Reaganomics. What happened to
Right.
Reagan? You remember what happened to Reagan?
Didn't he go crazy after a while?
Yeah, dementia.
Yeah.
Now, this man never once had reports of any mental illness in his family, genetic makeup, anything. But one day, he just all of a sudden caught the worst type of mental illness you could get.
Right.
You forget about everything. I remember Nancy Reagan saying that if she doesn't hold his hand, she's scared he's just going to walk off to the street thinking he's on a Hollywood set. Because remember, Ronald Reagan was in Hollywood before he was in politics.
Right.
So imagine how many other people had great lives. They become professionals and all. At some point in their life, it's all gone.
That's like what Bruce Willis is going through. He has some kind of mental illness on his brain, but it's something I never heard of before.
Yes. They can't classify it, so they're just calling it a rare form of dementia or Alzheimer's. They don't even know what it is.
Wow.
And not to make fun of Bruce Willis, but on a lighter side of things, I guess it's pretty safe to say that he is going to die hard.
Yeah, I'm sitting here actually looking at the little remedies that they was really spitting out for like dementia remedies. You know what I'm saying, that you can actually try on your loved one, like with herbs and certain fruits and vegetables you can actually use, because I think it's saying like it's a certain type of flow that's not going to your
To the
to certain
brain.
systems in your brain. So you know what I'm saying. So um yeah, whatever it is that you can actually that you know, as far as your cures, I'm always a stern believer of herbs and natural remedies, because I honestly believe that a lot of this stuff was actually already put on the planet. We get back to our spirituality, we start talking about God. I think a lot of the things that are built to sustain man was already put here with man. So you know, where there's diseases and stuff, there's actually cures that can actually remedy and take those away. So, you know, we just have to do our due diligence to find where they at. So,
Because this man told me yesterday, vanilla, 100% vanilla would work for someone that has dementia to help. Not going to fully bring back the brain, but it allows the person to somewhat get their memory back.
right. Right. Yeah, like certain type of foods that contain like oils, like omega oils and stuff like one thing that's good for memory, but I just had a nice little bowl of that. It's a flax seeds. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Flax seeds. You know what I'm
Going
saying?
back to the natural stuff.
Yeah, like the flax seeds with the little lemon juice and some salt, some salt, and sugar, and stuff. Hot water. Let it sit for a couple of hours. Drink that. That's supposed to like clear up a lot of stuff up in your intestines and stuff like that. Help you cleanse. You know what I'm saying? It also gives proprieties up in your mentals and help help lose brain fog and stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying? Maca root is another one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of herbs and remedies that you can actually get. I keep mispronouncing the name, but I just picked it up. Some I think they call it shilajit. Shilajit.
What is that? What is it?
It's like this little residue thing that they have that you mix in your drink, and it helps detox your system.
Oh, they give that to older folks. It's like it allows them to go to the bath. It's like a clear thing.
Yeah, and it also helps like deworm your skin from pesticides and stuff like that. You know, get you nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? And then break out some of that sea moss. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying?
I don't like sea moss. That's
I finally learned how to make it just recently, man. I had to follow the instructions. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the last time that I made it, I ruined it. So you had to make sure I followed the instructions this time. But yeah, it's pretty good. You know, so you try all that stuff, and you know, see where you fit. Eat your fruits. You know, the antioxidant berries like blueberries, blackberries. It's like the dark fruits. You know what I'm saying? That helps with the antioxidant stuff.
Let me ask you both a question. So if you had the power to change what's going on right now in society, what would be your advice?
Get spiritually connected. Get in tune. Get in tune with the Most High. Like I said on the Legend show, when you seek His face and you find His spirit and you move with the spirit actually guides you. You know what I'm saying? It actually leads you in the direction where you should go. Now it's up to you to follow it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's free. It is free. You know, you'll feel yourself out of alignment when you move away from it. Once you possess it. You know what I'm saying? So when you follow it, you know what I'm saying, it leads you to how to treat others with the same type of courtesy and respect that you would want to be treated yourself. You know what I'm saying?
What about you?
You know, I agree 100% with what DaVon said, and I like the fact that he referred to, you know, when we was on the Legend show and said about seeking His face, right? people may take that, not- but if you're a genuine person, if you ever had a wish in the world, what would it be? Me, it would be to get back to the foundation of a family, because
Mhm.
the foundation is destroyed. You have no respect from children. You have kids that want to beat up their parents. I seen it. They beat up the elders. They go out in the street. They just want to play the knockout game. We need to get back to a time where, like we said before, if you have religion in your household, they utilize that as a way of means to keep you in line. But also, it was a good education so that you can live a fruitful and a prosperous life, right? At
Right.
least in theory, right? But along the way, life happens. Look what happened to Adam and Eve. Serpent came and changed the world, quote unquote, from that point on, right? Well,
Mhm.
man, innocent souls, but then being going into a jungle where there's nothing but negativity. What would you want to wish for? I would want to wish this negativity turns to positivity, but it's not going to happen like that. You got to have faith. You got to use prayer. You gotta surround yourself with like-minded people, you know, because there's a lot of people out here that are thinking the same thing that us three are speaking about right now. There are people that are fearful. There are people that are scared because they don't know what's going on and they don't know if they're going to be able to come back home to
Right.
living. And if we had anything to change, like I said, is bring back the foundation.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you two last questions before we go off this air. So, if someone wanted to be in the place where you and Jose, they wanted to start out, what advice would you give them to start off if they were trying to do radio?
Get connected. You know what I'm saying? If, like I was telling various peoples. Like I was telling my son this as well. Just recently, you know, if you want to, if you want to be where the people are doing what it is that you like to do, you want to do, you got to be where they're at. If you want to be an artist, you got to be where the artists are at. If you want to be in radio, you want to be, you know what I'm saying, in production, music, whatever it is that you want to do in life, you got to be where it is that you're at. You want to study what it is that you know what I'm saying, and the ins and out, which normally, if it's a passion of yours, you're already doing that anyway. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But confidence is the number one key as well. You know what I'm saying? Knowing, believing in yourself and knowing that you have what it takes and not being afraid to fail. You know what I'm saying? Because everything doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes it takes work and due diligence to perfect what it is that you're trying to do. But the first thing is to start and have confidence in yourself and take the first step forward to achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Well, all right, Father. Go ahead, Jose.
I would, everything that Devon said was right on point, and I would also add on patience, because it's a virtue. Devon and I have seen so many people want to shoot to the top overnight, and those people end up being the most depressed. They go on their lives, they curse out the world, they wanna blame everybody instead of being held accountable. Because that's one thing, and I'm sorry, but I wanted to touch on, and we spoke about accountability. That's what, and that goes into the foundation of the family. Accountability. We got to hold ourselves accountable for all our actions. Not,
Right.
oh, I'm sorry, or I made a mistake, I committed a sin, now I could repent. No, get that out of your head. First,
Hmm.
you know that you're a person that has the most beautiful talent out of all species of animal that we are upon this kingdom, right? We are the most intellectual species. Let's act like it. Let's not show the animalistic side of ourselves, but more of the humanistic approach, right?
Right.
Let's help each other. Let's cross an old lady across the street that can't make it over. Let's, if you see kids in the store, instead of them going to steal all the candy and stuff, they're hungry. Won't you pay for those kids so that they won't go live a life of crime? I do it all the time. Sometimes
Right.
I go without any money or buy myself anything because I'd rather see another kid than watch him go out and commit a crime.
Right.
To have that sensibility, stop being so hypersensitive on all these racial background wars that are going. Let's all go back to one world where we love each
So, in closing statement, I'll say, Jose, because you long-winded. Give me a closing statement. DaVon, give me a closing statement, and I'll thank y'all for coming on.
other. First, I want to say thank you to Xavier. This great platform. Very informative. I love the way your questions are great and the reply just very stimulating. I'm looking at the time now. I'm like, oh my god, we've been an hour. Great you get different perspectives, and
Mm-hmm.
the way that you grow up the topics and all is very very insightful. And I just want to say, thank you, God, and everyone that supports you. You have us here to support you. We're here to support you, but
Thank you.
I know that you're one of God's soldiers, and I'm glad to call you my brother because we're all making a positive change for the world.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And like for me, I appreciate you having us on. You know what I'm saying? For sure, for sure. I apologize for the slippage of the tongue. For all the
That's
audience and the listeners that be viewing this, I apologize to y'all for the slippage of the tongue. When I get kind of passionate, son. When I get kind of passionate, I kind of talk a little aggressive. So that's why I stay on my chill.
right, right. No,
But
I
on,
appreciate
on
it. It happens.
but on the real side, I like to thank you for inviting us on. Thank you to Tyrone Lowe and the Legends Show that started all this. I like to send a shout out to Al Williams over there at IXS Radio and everybody at IXS Radio who's given us the platform for us to be able to do what it is that we're doing. Love to everybody, the fams, everybody that we affiliated with, my family, just everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, I know we're gonna be missing a whole lot of this, that, and third, but live love life, take care of each other, and thank you once again.
Everyone, thank you for tuning into Xavier's journey. I appreciate DaVon Franklin and Jose Rivera. Mr. You all really do know.
You already you're just butchering our names up, man. DaVon Franklin Jose Rivera.
I apologize. Look, I wanted y'all to do how y'all do it on your show. Y'all go back and forth. Go ahead, let me hear. Jose Rivera and DaVon Franklin. DaVon. Sorry, I'm so sorry. That's my brother named Evon too. Lord have
Okay.
Frank.
Jose Xavier. We having a good time, man. Yo, appreciate the love, man.
I thank y'all. I appreciate you. And I will give a shout out to Tyrone, because if Tyrone show is the way we met, and I appreciate the Legends. And we'll come back on again soon and have some, maybe bring Tyrone on and we all have a conversation about some other
man. Anytime, set it up, man. We're with it.
And I appreciate y'all, man. Yes, sir.
Happy New Year. May 2024 be a true blessing to you and your family, and filled with nothing but much prosperity, love, humility, because you just earned, two brothers here. All right.
Yes, appreciate y'all.
We're not friends. We're brothers.
Brothers.
Love you, brother, because you're moving mountains and you're making things happen, and we gonna continue to support you throughout the whole journey.
Well, thank you, and I'll do the same with y'all too. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Until next time, have a blessed and Merry Christmas. Yes, Christmas already. Happy holidays and a blessed and prosperous New Year. Until then, God bless. Don't y'all leave yet.